Hi everybody, welcome to video number 30. In the last couple videos we've been working on classifying a Landsat image from Yellowstone National Park with particular interest towards breaking out the parts of the park that were burned in the 1998 wildfire. And what I'm going to show you how to do in this video is take that classified image and clean it up a little bit. It's quite common that after classification many pixels have been misclassified, or perhaps they haven't been classified at all. So here I'm going to show you a couple techniques to clean up your image. First thing I'll show you how to do is combine classes. Then I'll show you how to sieve out isolated pixels. And then I'll show you how to use a majority analysis to actually go through and assign new values to isolated pixels. So I've got the project open here. Here's the map of Yellowstone. Notice we have 5 classes. We've got burned trees, unburned trees, meadow, rock, and water. So consider the case where we'd like to have fewer classes. Perhaps in this case we'd like to have our final map just show, for example, burned, unburned, and water. So in that case what I'd like to do is I'd like to combine this meadow class and this rock class all in with the unburned class. So to do that, I can use the tool over here under classification, combine classes, and I'll choose my classified image, and then I can pick an input. And so for my first input I'm going to choose bedrock, and I'm going to output that to be part of the trees class. And it's not going to be trees, but that's going to be one larger unburned class now. So I'll add that combination. And then I also, for my next combination, I'm going to assign meadows as my input, and all those meadows are also going to turn into the trees class, which is going to be our new unburned class. Okay, so I've got bedrock going to trees, meadows going to trees. Everything else is going to be the same. Unclassified is going to stay the same, water is going to stay the same, etc. So I'll hit OK and hit OK. Here comes my newly combined image. Notice now I only have 3 classes: burned, unburned, and water. I've also got these black pixels which are unclassified. Notice that all the classes are still showing up in the image. There's just no pixels now for the ones that we've combined away. So the next thing we might want to do is actually go through this image and identify pixels that seem to have been misclassified. And classic evidence for misclassified pixel is when you see a really isolated pixel hanging out by itself as an island within a much larger area of another pixel type. So in this case, we've got a bunch of unburned pixels that are scattered within, a bunch of burned pixels scattered within this unburned area. So I want to zoom in on this part of the image as we do our next step. And what we're going to try to do is clean some of this up and reassign some of these burned pixels into the unburned category under the assumption that they've been incorrectly categorized here. So one step in doing this is called the sieve classes tool. And what this is going to do, it's going to go through and actually look at these isolated pixels, and if they are not close to any similar pixels, it's going to assign them a no data value. So I'm going to do this on my newly combined image, and I'm just going to do this for the burned pixels. So I'm only going to consider those darker blue pixels. And I'm going to go ahead and say that for a burned pixel to stay categorized as burned, it needs to be near at least 3 other burned pixels out of its 8 closest neighbors. Okay, so I'll give this a file name and hit OK. And here's my result. Notice that in the new sieved image, a lot of the pixels that were dark blue, burned, are now black. They're unclassified. So we can toggle back and forth. See, a lot of those blue pixels have turned to black. So the final thing I'd like to show you is how to actually go through and assign new values to these pixels that have recently been now downgraded to no data. An easy way to do that is with the majority-minority analysis. And what this analysis is going to do, it's going to go through with a moving window. In this case, it'll be a 3 pixel by 3 pixel square window. And it's going to center up on each of these unclassified pixels, each of the black pixels, in turn. And it's going to assign a new value to that pixel. And the new value is going to be whatever the value of the majority of the neighboring pixels is. So for example, if the majority of the 8 neighboring pixels is 4, then the new value of the no data pixel is going to be 4. So I'm going to choose to do this on my sieved image, okay? And I'm going to only consider the unclassified, or what I've been calling no data pixels. We're going to use the majority assignment. There's also an option to use the minority assignment if you'd like the new value to be assigned whatever the minority value of the neighboring pixels is. We'll go with my majority. We'll use a 3 by 3 moving window. This is often called a kernel. What's cool is we can assign a different weight for the center pixel. If we want the center pixel to count for more, we can up this weight from 1 up to 2, 3, 4, or 5. And basically it's going to then count that center pixel however many additional times you specify. Okay, so here's the result of that majority reclassification. Notice that all the black unclassified pixels sitting out by themselves have now been lumped into the unburned group. So those black specks have gone away. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see that there's still a lot of isolated pixel groups in the image. So it might be worthwhile in this case to go back and repeat the sieving and majority analysis with broader reclassification criteria. And you can repeat those or start over again as many times as you want until you're happy with how your final classified image looks. So in summary, you've learned how to combine classes, how to sieve out isolated pixels, and how to use a majority analysis to assign new values to pixels. Please join us for our next video where I'll show you how to transfer points from ArcMap into a handheld GPS to take to the field for ground truthing. Thanks.